Hey everyone, it's Michael again. Wanted to touch base with you on my opinion. That's what it is. But initially, as I've mentioned prior, my intentions were the purest, and I was trying to follow a lead. You know, my brother, as I've mentioned, had success looking online for a foreign bride, and he, however, went to a Christian site right off, knowing that he wanted that, and got for lack of a better term, I think he got lucky. But him and his bride talked for, I think, 6 months, maybe 3 months, who knows. It was a very short time. However, they both did the math and calculated the expense of them getting together, and both of them benefiting from the relationship. And he does have a mother-in-law and brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws. However, they're living their lives in their country, and my brother's living his life with his new bride in his country, in this country, the United States. And that's the end of it. You know, I mean, they do communicate through FaceTime, Messenger, Skype, whatever. They use those resources to communicate with family. But there's no, and they are in-laws through marriage. But there's no additional expense that my brother has to come up with, you know, like paying for things for family in the Ukraine. They're just happy that she found a good husband and he found a good wife. So everybody's content with that. However, for those that are looking online for a Philippine bride, from my watching the many videos that I did, there seems to be some obligations to family. So you're not just getting the woman, you're getting the woman's family. And there's financial obligations that are expected because of their economic situation. And I think too, unfortunately, just from my listening to all the many YouTubes, there are a lot of men that are on there, I guess, and they're professing love and the faithfulness of a nice Filipino woman. And I'm sure, just like in any country, there's good and bad in everything. However, the bad, unfortunately, messes it up for the good. So when you, like myself, or if you ever were to run into someone like I did, I thought I had a girl next door Christian type person, and what I run into was somebody that had a motive that was different than mine, is what it appears to be. Right off the bat, there was marriage, but separated. I didn't know what that meant, other than I always assumed that separated mean that you were on your way to divorce. But if there is no divorce in the country of the Philippines, then that right there was my first red flag to just say, well, I'm sorry, that's not going to work out. Then the annulment thing that was spoke to me about, which is what held me hostage to the relationship, was that there was a hope, you know. But I didn't even know about that, and I had to learn the hard way, or over time, that there's also criteria that has to be met. And as is mentioned many times by those that are closer to that country, either being an expat or whatever, or married to a Filipina, they'll even tell you, and they have, if you watch those videos as well, you will hear that process takes 5 to 7 years. So if you're a man like myself that's a little bit older and maybe looking to retire somewhere, you'd be hooking up with somebody separated and dodging and weaving through authority and or neighbors or friends or even family that would frown on that, because you're not supposed to really touch this person until they are free and clear of, being involved with somebody else. Because I too believe that marriage is something that should last forever. It's not something that you just do and like you're renting a wife or a husband, and then when you're tired of the environment or the marriage itself or situation, you just move on to another. That seems a little unfair. It doesn't seem like something that God himself has implemented biblically for a man and a woman to do. So you see a lot of that, and you learn a lot of that. But here's a key point I want to make, is that you have to calculate the expense that's involved here. So if you're meeting with somebody and they even tell you they're separated, and you were to pay for an annulment process, you have to ask yourself this, like what my brother did. When they calculated their expenses, it was two people that were going to come to this country and start a life and have a marriage. Two people. And two people were investing in that arrangement. Two people. Whether it was her family pitched in and my brother's family pitched in or whatever, and they all made it happen. That was two sides doing that, not one-sided. But if you have somebody separated, has to get an annulment, has to have the money to fly here, the money for visas, the money for this, the money for that, I'll bet you a dime to a dollar, and I'm not a gambling man, that's why I'm in this situation. Before I put my money down on something, I want to know that it's going to win. But here's the thing, here's what you find out. If you just hold off and do your homework first before you just jump in, unlike myself, and take 9 months of my life, I've learned about how it goes in another country. I think it costs, I was even looking into the flight expense to get there, and I was looking at numbers like 3,000 American dollars for a round trip ticket. Then there's probably all kinds of visas and passes, and everything you do there is about money. There's bar fines. You can't go and have a drink and have a good time without paying somebody to look at the girls wiggle their behinds, So it's messed up. It's messed up, and I think that what you should do is really just take out a pen and paper and start asking yourself, $3,000 flight, if she is married but separated, what does it cost for an annulment? Oh, and here comes a nice Korean family, just so you can see, Asian family. Morning. How are you today? So, see, there's people from all cultures here, in the United States. It's not just one type. And they're here because somebody got them here, or they got here on their own, and then they become citizens of the United States. I want you to do this, though, friends. Take out a pen and paper and ask yourself, even if you pay for a site that's going to do all that screening and making certain that they have Salamars, etc., who's going to pay for their flight here, your flight there? Think about all that. Add all that up. I know that there's beautiful people all over the world, not just here in the United States, not just in the Philippines. But add up the expense and ask yourself, do you have that kind of money? On and on. First you got to find them, then after all that's said and done, if you do marry them, now you got to support the family. It sounds like it's a little bit much, And I think if a woman wants to come here and be married to a Western man, she should come here to be married to a Western man. Giving gifts to your family overseas. I want to tell you this too. I tried to send a small package, FedEx. You know what they wanted? It was under 10 pounds. I think it was $489. It's expensive, man. That's an expensive tail. And you want one that's honest and loyal and trusting, and somebody that, you know, you can love for the rest of your life. Not what's going on, you know. So, you know, look at it. Look at the cost. Look at the cost. And is the cost, and once it's done, and then it's just what it would cost you to be with somebody or have a wife. Look at that real long and hard. Look at it that they're looking for hand in pocket all the time. They're hiding a lot, and don't get pulled in without doing all your homework first. If you're interested in that type of a woman, there's plenty of them there. Anyway, Michael again, and my dog walking. You have a good one.